Hello and welcome to Financial Education for the Nation. My name is Warren Shute, and today, the secret of money. Clarity is power. Clarity, vision. Come on, let's face it, guys. When you can see something, you can believe it, right? When you have visual on something, when you can visualize it. So do me a favor. This is going to work for 80% of you, okay? So if you're safe to do so, close your eyes. If it's safe to do so. So you're driving or you're running on a treadmill or operating machinery, don't do it. But if you just sat around, listen in the background, do me a second. Just close your eyes and visualize something that you really like, you're passionate about. So it could be an individual, it could be lying on the beach, it could be scuba diving, skiing, whatever it might be for you, racing a car, hanging out with your friends. Just take a moment, visualize that. Now do a couple of things for me. Add some auditory, so add some great music or great sounds, friends' voices, chinging of champagne glasses. Make the image bigger, so it's far away, make it closer. Make it brighter, so put lots of colors in it, like this shirt, lots of colors. Okay. Now jump in that and see yourself in there, running around, having a great time, so you're in the image. Now come out and see it, make it bigger. Now open your eyes. Now, what was the difference between the first image and the last image? The first image was just an image, right? You just had something in your mind, you thought about it. The second one, you got more clarity. And the more clarity you can get with anything in your life, the more precision you got. I can't say it, put my teeth in. The more precision you've got, the more likelihood you're going to achieve this. And I do this a lot with people that, if we can really get specific and get clarity, you've got strength and power, and you've got momentum, and it's a motivator too. So I know if I'm feeling a little bit demotivated, so if I'm feeling a little bit off a little bit, then I take a moment, I start writing out, sketching out, drawing, doing some sums, and getting myself animated of what it can be like when I'm achieving my goals. And I then start visualizing. So meditation, I do meditation most mornings, every morning. Sit down. It's not every morning, actually. It's not true. Most mornings, virtually every morning. Sit down, close my eyes, bring up the image that I want to create, make it very big, bold, just go through exactly the same motions I did with you. If you want to hear more of that, by the way, just message me and I can do a whole show on it. And then create that image really bold. Then I just clear my mind. So it's in there, I've got it, and I clear my mind and I just do my meditation. But I do that visualization exercise virtually every single day. Now, when it comes to money, knowing what I want is important. So where am I aiming at? But also, where am I today? So knowing your numbers. And money isn't as complicated as you think when you have clarity, I assure you. And if you think about anything you find confusing, it's because you don't have clarity on it. I have certain things in my life that I find very confusing. And it's because I don't understand them. And I don't really have a passion to understand them. But with money, you kind of have to. It's kind of three things, I think, in life that you really have to understand. Everything else you can outsource, okay? You have to understand money. You have to understand money, where you are today and where you're going. You have to understand your health. So you have to understand what a great ideal weight is for you, what kind of exercise you need to do, how many calories you kind of need to be eating, or what kind of foods. You have to go to calorie detail, but what kind of foods are good and not good for you, that kind of thing, okay? Making sure you get enough water. I think you can't delegate that, okay? Someone can help you with it, but you can't delegate it. Same with money. Someone can help you with it, but you can't delegate it. The third thing is your relationships. You really have to understand what's important to you in life, your relationship with yourself, what's important to your significant other, your spouse in life, so you could help them meet that, so you have a good relationship. What's important to life and your kids? Can you help steer them on the right path? Your parents, your friends, so you can have this network of relationships. Those three things I don't think you can delegate to somebody else to do. Your garden might be important to you, but you could actually get a gardener to do that, and you're not going to lose much sleep over it, I would have thought. In your tax return, you can probably delegate that, so completing it, but you kind of need to understand it. But knowing your numbers, knowing your health stats and what you need to do, and knowing your relationship KPIs, as it were, I hate to say that, are key things. So knowing, getting clarity, and I often refer to this as getting to know ALIE, every financial planner's best friend, ALIE. Assets, liabilities, income, and expenditure. Okay, when you know your ALIE, your assets, liabilities, income, expenditure, you've got a lot of clarity that the majority of people don't have. And don't overlook this. The last 18 months or so, going back to, it wasn't quite January, but certainly March time, when the pandemic and the lockdown all kicked, has played havoc on so many people's finances. And I'll be honest, I think it's polarized the society, which I don't like, but it has polarized society. You've got some people who are struggling like hell. You know, they've had a really tough time. If they are in, particularly in kind of like hospitality or theatre, that kind of business, acting, stage work, they've had a really tough time. Bands, musicians, not being able to gig. I really feel for them. No fault of their own. They're going through a real tough time financially. This now is going to really help you get things straight. On the flip side, you've got people who may have actually prospered during this time. They may have been furloughed. They may have taken advantage of that furlough and done something with their health or their career, or generally just around their home. So they're actually being paid and they've improved themselves. So it's a real shame we've got this polarity in our economy at the moment, in society. But on a round world, there are no sides, and I think we should sort of take time to make sure that we're thinking of everyone during this time. So if the last 18 months have played havoc, this is really going to help you. If the last 18 months have been great, this might even polish up your finances to help you out a little bit more. The hardest step is always the first one. Okay, it's like a snowball, isn't it? Just getting it over. Once it's going, once we've got momentum, it's a little bit easier. But let's start with the first step. I want you to start with your assets. Actually, no, let's go back. Let's start with your expenditure. Let's start with your expenditure. It's just easier. Most people have a bit more clarity on that. So I want you to go through all of your expenditure. So the easiest way of doing this typically is getting a bank statement and just going through the bank statement line by line. Okay. And try and give it some kind of structure. So what I like to do is put the bank account system in place and get all of your expenditure being paid out of one bank account. Okay, gives a lot of simplicity in this. And then we've got all the expenditure coming out of one bank account. We can go through each and every single item and ask ourselves, do we need this? Do we want this? Can we get a similar experience as this for less? Now, a great example with a similar experience for less is TV packages. So I see some people who literally have 3-digit TV packages, i.e. hundreds of pounds a month. It might be you might need it. Okay, if you can afford it, then great. If you can't, you need to have a little conversation with yourself. I myself find that incredible, that someone would pay so much for TV. It's just not one of my values, I guess. That's why. But can you get similar experience less? Well, nowadays with the likes of Netflix, you can get loads of TV shows and stuff for a fraction of that price. Was it $9.99 a month or something? So you've got to ask yourself, can we get a similar experience for less on that deal? Go through each and individual item. You may even find there are some direct debits that you no longer need. You could stop. You may have had them a long time ago, and you can just cancel those out now. So have a think. Go through each. The idea is to get this bills account down as lean as possible, but still enjoy your life. Now, why don't we also look at money coming in at the same time? Now, during this time, if you've been struggling financially because your furlough's gone down, or you may not even get furlough, start looking at things that you can sell or boost your income. So you certainly need to have more money coming in than going out. It's just a given. Okay, you need to have more money coming in than going out, unless you're living off investments, and that's a specific strategy that you decided to go down. If you have more going out than coming in, you're going to start getting yourself into real big trouble straight away. And it might be a case of taking short-term sacrifices to cut things out. Now remember, this isn't forever. Some people make decisions think, oh, forever I'm not going to be able to have Sky TV, for example, or forever I'm not going to be able to go out and eat at a nice restaurant. It's not true. Live like this today so that you can live like you want in the future. There is a website called entitled2.co.uk. It's a great site. So if you're struggling financially, you can go on to entitled2.co.uk. You can put all your details in. It's very, very comprehensive. Then it will come up with a list of benefits you may be able to claim and get some benefits from. So if this appeals to you, if this is, if you've got low income coming in, particularly if you've got children, if you're out of work, this is a great site to go to, entitled2.co.uk. Put your details in and it'll give you a list of benefits you may be able to claim. Another thing you can do is have a look around the house and have a sale. Now, I have always got items on Facebook Marketplace or eBay. I don't use Gumtree for no other reason apart from I just haven't set an account up on it. But there are multiple different sites now that you can sell things from. So we sell everything from old clothes to old items. I've even gotten a strategy for many years ago that I've kept boxes. So then when I no longer need it, I'll then box it up and sell it in the original packaging. But you don't need that. It doesn't have to have the original packaging. So many people are wanting to buy items pre-owned now for various reasons. One, because it's less expensive, and two, because of environmental reasons. And I applaud both of them. I think it's a great idea. I'll always buy pre-owned books on Amazon rather than buying the original ones, unless I really desperately get it and I want it next day. So I smiled then because my wife cleaned out our spare room and she found my old train set from when I was a kid, literally this week. And she goes, "Oh, we just want to throw it away." I'm like, no, you're not going to throw it away. I had so much pleasure with that. She goes, "It's useless. You're never going to use it again." Now, that's true. I'm unlikely to play with my train set anymore. However, what I did straight away, typed it and went on to eBay. It was selling for £170, guys. And this is just the engine, the carriage bit. I had passenger bits and I had some track and stuff. Hey, there is so much stuff going online. So before you just dismiss it and just say don't worry about it, just have a look. Now bear in mind, I don't have any boxing for this. This is since I was probably 8 years old or maybe even younger, so it's old, so needs a bit of a clean up, bit of TLC, packaged up, listed on eBay, and even if I got £100 for it, Jesus, that's a lot of money. And I always say to people, if you saw £100 on the floor, would you leave it there? And if you wouldn't, then this is worth it. So use that denomination. You go down to a level where you think, actually, I'd see a £5 on the floor, I'd leave it there. I personally wouldn't. And if you wouldn't, then perhaps you want to look at selling items for that. There has to be a bit of commerciality in there, I do admit. You've got to look at the amount of time it's going to take you to do it, and the cost of doing it and such like, and the aggro potential in whether it's worth it or not. So what have we got? We've got expenses being cut minimal as we can and still enjoying life. We've got a bills account. We've got our income being boosted as much as I can. So we've made sure we've gone on to entitled to, we've gone on and sold any unwanted items. We can also look for promotion and upskill ourselves. So although there are sectors that are struggling, don't carry that limiting belief. You never know, you might be able to improve on what you're getting paid. So are there training courses you can do? Is there anything you can do to try and improve yourself, to make yourself more valuable to your employer so you can get more income, to try and boost your income? It's all about income and outflows, inflows and outflows, money coming in, money going out, and then just reinvesting the difference. And I want you to try and save at least 12.5% of your income. Now, ideally, we'd do 20%. That's the target, 20%, but 12.5% is the first working hour of a working day, really is a minimum. So the ratios I split your expenditure up in are roughly 20% of your income should be retained for short and longer term investment. So whether you're saving for a holiday or you're saving for retirement, roughly 20% of your income should be allocated towards that. 50% of your expenditure should be allocated towards your bills. So your household bills, your direct debits coming out of your bills account. And then 30% of your money should be allocated towards variable spending. So this would be covering bills such as fuel in the car, picking up a coffee, newspaper, grocery shopping, anything which is flexible, variable every month, and you spend with your debit card. Not everyone is going to split completely into each of those boxes, okay? So I don't fit completely into those boxes. So sometimes you've got additional expenses at home, like childcare, which really bumps up the direct debits, the bills account, the 50%, so it's more than 50%. But when that's high, then you've got to pull back on the wham possibly, or massage the figures a little bit so that you can still retain the 20%. This whole money thing is more of a psychological game rather than a practical game. And it's our beliefs around money that are more important. And when I sort of talked about money, for some people, they just literally glaze over. It's almost like I've given them an algebra equation. But it's clarity. It's just sitting down, giving yourself a bit of time to get organized. So we've covered your income, cover your expenditure. Then you've got your assets and liabilities. So your assets are really money and assets that you own, things you own. So if you own your own home, what's the value of your home? You may be pleasantly surprised. House valuations pretty much all over the country have risen over the last 12 months, primarily fueled by the stamp duty holiday. Be interesting to see what goes on going in future. What are your pension valuation? So if anyone's employed, they should have a workplace pension. Get a valuation on that. And this is something I would do. If you're really new to it, I'd probably do it every quarter. If you're more experienced, every 6 months or 12 months. I do mine every 12 months. But just getting a valuation on your pension. Now, did you have previous pensions from previous employers? Is it worth going to investigate those and to see how much money's in those as well? And then is it worth considering, I'm not telling you to do this, but considering consolidating those so there's just one pension for you to manage it a bit easier? So these other assets that you've got, do you have any money in the bank? Do you have premium bonds? Do you have other assets like coins? Maybe you have some coins or a stamp collection, or you have some antiques that are not precious to you, but you would comfortably sell and realize into cash. Are they in the best place? And then you start having this and you put it on a spreadsheet. If you go across to warrenshute.com, there's a download on their spreadsheet. You can type all these things into them and it gives you a good organization. You can download the spreadsheet, keep it on your own computer, and then you can do this every quarter, 6 months, every year. So you keep track of your finances. And also where it really pays dividends is heaven forbid something tragic would happen to you in a fatality. Your next of kin can go, they've got a snapshot. Okay, well, this is where all of Johnny, Mary's, whoever, money and assets were. We know we can organize it. It's much easier for them rather than them going through all your paper drawers and trying to find odd bits of statements here, there, and everywhere. And then we look at liabilities. So liability is the other one of ALIE. And then you sort of look at things like your mortgage, your credit card balance, your overdraft balance, your car loan, your personal loans, that kind of thing. List them all down, put down the interest rate and see what you're paying. Can you improve on that? Can we get, if the house value's gone up somewhat, can we get a better interest rate on our mortgage? Okay, if the credit cards are there, can we switch them to 0%? Remember, I don't like to consolidate them, but I'm all about saving interest. So maybe switch them to 0%. Only switch them to 0%, by the way, typically if it's going to take you more than a year or so to pay off. And the reason for that is there's normally a 3% charge or so when you switch. So you've got to bear that in mind. So it's a 3% interest rate on that if you're going to do it. But sometimes it's easier just not to do that and just to suck it up where you are and just pay it off. But when you've done that exercise, you've got complete clarity of where you are. You've progressed yourself into a realm which I would say is bordering on black belt in martial arts. You're a black belt in finances because you're so far ahead of most other people, and you'll walk with pride and you'll really enjoy the fact that you've got yourself organized. Pick up a copy of The Money Plan. It's the book that I wrote a couple of years back, and it covers this in a lot of detail, and it is really, really good, and I get so much great feedback from it, which I'm very proud of, and it certainly help you get yourself organized. Until next time, stay safe. Keep sending in your comments. Please like and share this show. It means more people can see it. It means I go up on the ratings. More people see it. You're helping more people. And it's a way of saying thank you to me to doing the show, and if you get any value out of it. And of course, if you get any questions, message them in to me, either on social media or on email at warren@warrenshute.com, and I'll make sure I reply to you. Until next time, stay safe. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. There's a great number of back issues to go through, and remember, what makes us different on your financial journey is the support with access to downloads and templates on warrenshute.com, the YouTube videos and podcasts, as well as access to me, a multi-award winning certified financial planner and certified international coach. So please do engage, and let's get your finances sorted together.